Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show, obviously episode 222. And obviously, in this one, we will be doing a reaction the day after the Queen's Park Rangers game, obviously Monday Night Football. And unfortunately, guys, as we all know, it was another defeat, which now means we have double figures of away defeats, which is obviously 10, which is not a good look at all. But first of all, Dad, before we get into it, how are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. I hope everyone's cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big up to everyone that has been waiting as well before we went on. Obviously, Rich being one of them says evening. Big up to yourself, mate. But yeah, going into it. So the lineup was quite interesting because it looked like it was actually the back four. Finally went to a back four. So it was Kaminsky in goal, Bell, McGuinness, Holmes, and it seemed like Walters was playing as obviously the right back. And then you had Chong, Nakamba, Dabo, Walsh as well, Morris and Nelson. So it seemed like it was one up front as well. Obviously, Morris. I mean, me personally, I do get a bit sceptical when it's just Morris up front because we sort of see it towards the latter stages of the Swansea game where it doesn't quite work out. Because he's good at holding up the ball, but he hasn't really got that pace to get in behind. I feel if we're going to play with Elijah, who can get in behind. But again, Morris is the captain, so he's always going to start probably. Interesting that Lamine comes straight in. Obviously, a lot of rumours that he'll be available for this game. I thought he'd been on the bench personally. Like I said in my reaction yesterday, that's what I would have done anyway. Obviously, we'll get into performances individually, but there was a few moments from him. And again, I'm not going to be too critical. So he's adapting to English football. It's completely different, but the sort of signs were quite similar to what we see of Hashioka when he first joined. That they've got a lot to learn, and it's a completely different ball game to where they were playing. I had a few decent moments and obviously had two good opportunities to score. Walsh comes straight back in. That was interesting. Again, obviously he was going to be available for this game, but again, I would have thought he would have been on the bench. But it's interesting that he started. Obviously, he took a few of the set pieces as well when obviously Nelson come off. Had a few shots as well and things like that. Again, the surprise Kraus weren't starting, to be honest. That was a bit of a surprise with the work ethic he's brought into the team. Like we said on the last one, he's a lone player. Lone players, you want to utilise them as much as possible. And he hasn't really done anything to be on the bench for me. So I was a bit surprised about that, to be honest. Everyone else is expected, obviously, like I say, Walsh and that. As for the bench, it was Elijah, Anderson, Brown, Clark, Hashioka, Kraus, Krul, Ruddock, and Woodrow. So no Taylor on the bench. Obviously, there was massive rumours circulating in the summer of him potentially going to Huddersfield. They've started to circle back. So that's probably where he's going to go. He's going to go anyway. It's inevitable. We all know this. It's probably just waiting for confirmation now, really, on it. But yeah, what did you make of that lineup, Dad? A bit surprising, wasn't it?
Yeah, forward back. Obviously, I like that because I do think it's stronger, and we've got the players to fit enough and available to do that now. Bell's probably better playing as a left back rather than a left centre back. I had a feeling that Dabo would make his debut. Walsh coming straight back in, a little bit surprising, but Clark, obviously he's not 100%, and maybe he decided to give Kraus a bit of a rest because he has played like pretty much every game since he's come back from injury. The one up front, yeah, that's the only kind of thing. I kind of get it, but if you're pushing the other players on and stuff, and it's good to see Nelson starting again as well. So I was quite confident that we might get something, with the refreshed kind of look. Obviously, we expected Doughty to be back, and he wasn't. Maybe he will be back for the next game. We'll see. But because he weren't on the bench. Taylor not being on the bench. Moses weren't on the bench either. But again, he hasn't been performing really recently, has he? For the quality of the player that he is.
No, especially in the last game he come on, he wasn't great, was he, against Norwich? And even the Bristol City game, we weren't great in that game either. So that makes sense. And again, Taylor's obviously had rumours, hasn't he? So that one's completely different. Moses is getting to, let's be honest, he's getting to the latter stages of his career. And obviously we signed him, but yeah, he's not the best at the moment. But yeah, it is one of them, isn't it? Where sometimes you look at the lineup, you completely forget about certain players. I actually sort of forgot about Taylor because he hasn't really come on a few times, but he hasn't really started anyway. And then obviously someone put it on Instagram. I was like, oh yeah, he's not there, is he? But so yeah, it's just a matter of time, really, in it before he leaves the club. So yeah, big up to Blue Terrier in the chat. He's put waving things. Obviously, he's a Huddersfield fan. There's strong rumours that we've all but signed him for a 7-figure fee, which is quite interesting. Yeah, it's inevitable, isn't it, really, that he's probably going to go to you guys. Obviously, there was rumours in the summer, like I say. He's coming back round. He wasn't in the lineup yesterday. Tells you we need to know, but I'll tell you what, if you do get him, obviously you would have seen anyway, but you've got a good player on your hands and he will definitely, bang in goals for you guys. No question about that. So fair play if you do. Big up to Paul, says, good evening, lads. Big up to Terry as well. Hi, Ty Daz. I thought Walsh didn't do too much. No. I mean, I was watching the game yesterday and I was saying, I sort of want him to have, I said it in my match reaction as well, I sort of want him to have a redemption arc in a way, because yes, a lot of it's probably PR, the statement, him right, the stuff that was said in it at the same time, but I can tell he actually wants to do well for the club. And on his day, especially when he passed, like his range of passing is really good. I feel, when he first come in, we see that. It's just the tackling aspect. I mean, there was one little bit yesterday, nowhere near like a sliding tackle, but a little tackle from behind, which he nearly done, which I got a little bit worried about, which you will do. It's just natural. It's even like, obviously it's a bit different, but when Lockyer does return, eventually we're all going to be worried because of, when he jumps up for headers and stuff. I mean, it's sort of similar thing, but when Walsh tackles. But yeah, he had a couple of good shots, to be fair. Blocks, he took the free kick. I thought that was the moment, where he could have got that redemption. And, he does want to do well for the club. And I feel if you're putting him higher up, sort of like an attacking midfielder, which he seemed like he was, then I've got no problem with it, to be honest. Just don't put him in, like how we put Clark in centre mid sometimes and stuff like that. Don't be doing that with Walsh. I mean, because he probably will get a silly card given away because that's just what he's like. But is there anything you want to add on it, Dad?
No, that's why we're going with we're kind of like, was it 5 in midfield? Because you can't really have 3 defensive midfielders then, I guess. Do you know what I mean? And that's why he was probably included rather than Kraus. So yeah, I can see, and he did play because he does look like a quality player, and he did play all right. So he's probably actually played himself into the next game, just based on that. And like I say, if you're going with the extra man in midfield, you don't want 3. 2's all right, but you want someone who can spray the passes about or get forward a little bit more and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like I said, when he first had a cameo for us, is when he gets Preston away. And I mean, we were dominant in that game, but I felt he was probably the only positive in that game because of the way he was trying to spray passes and that. He brought a different dimension to what we were having, really. And I feel, his passing is good. It's just, obviously, like we all worry about the tackling, but yeah, Rich says, wouldn't have Alfie anywhere near Nottingham this weekend, to be honest. Yeah, obviously we thought, by what was said, that he'd be featuring in this game, whether that's on the bench or not, or starting, and obviously he wasn't. I mean, yeah, I'll be honest, without getting into it too much, obviously we'll have a preview on Friday to that, but yeah, I'm taking that as a free hit. They played yesterday as well. They won 3-0. I mean, it probably wasn't a 3-0 game. I didn't watch it, obviously, at the same time, but I saw the highlights. And Wolves had some great chances, to be fair, but they're on fire. To be doing that well in the Premier League. And again, it's cup, cup competition, that, but still, I just think, this is probably the first time in a good few years we played Forest and it won't be a close game, if I'm going to be honest. Both teams will rotate, but with how we are away as in general, and how they've been this season, I can't see anything other than them winning. But yeah, we'll get into that more obviously on Friday. And hopefully we will have some team news for that game this time. Blue Terrier also says someone on one of our fans forum with a very good track record of getting things right. Yeah, exactly. Well, like you say, it's inevitable in it, really. Like I say, it's just annoying from our end. He never really got that chance, and even when he did, the playoff final, he rose to the occasion. And that's one of the biggest stages, in English football, and he just didn't really get that chance after that, which was a bit of a blow, but it's what it is. Hopefully, we replace him. But we shall see. But yeah, going into the actual game, the first half, I mean, a bit of a slow start from us. QPR had some great choices. First one being from a cross. I believe it was Chair who played it in, and apparently over the years we've been looking at him. I wonder why. I mean, he should have probably scored in this game, but he obviously got an assist for the second goal. Nearly got an assist early on. Kaminsky. I mean, when I was watching it to myself, I was thinking, well, Kaminsky's keeping Rob Edwards in a job right now. Some of his saves are unbelievable. And again, like I say, like I said in the reaction yesterday, it don't matter where we are right now. Kaminsky is definitely up there for one of the best shot stoppers in the league. It's unbelievable some of the saves he was doing yesterday. Obviously, the standout one is where they had the rebound. They should have scored the rebound, let's be honest. But the first save, what a save. To jump up and get that, it's unbelievable, really. And then, they do eventually get a goal. Fry, who did score against us in a reverse fixture, obviously done the fortnight dance when he scored in that game. His teammate done it this time. But, again, there's a bit of controversy. If that was in the Premier League, that would have been a handball. At the same time, I sort of felt it was coming, that they were going to score because of them previous chances. I've seen a few people on the other hand go, maybe Waters could have been a bit stronger. And I do have to agree to a certain extent. But again, it's one of them handball decisions. You don't know what it is nowadays. You know what I mean? They change it up continuously. In the rules, that shouldn't have been given. So I don't know why it wasn't when you look at that basis. But it was inevitable. And I wasn't really frustrated with the handball. I was just more frustrated that we just started slow again, really, in my opinion. I mean, a few times we went on a break before that, but it was predominantly after that we started playing better. But what did you make of the goal, Dad?
Yeah, well, it's coming. Their chance they've got some good attacking players. They've got Cross come in. Walters probably should, but he's still young as well. And that Fraser's a powerful guy, man. He's really, really strong.
He's come in and done really well for them. Yeah.
McGuinness or Mengi, like last time when they played him when he scored. I didn't see the handball initially. See it on replay. The referee probably didn't see it. Linesman probably didn't see it. Yeah, it might have been ruled out, but it wasn't. And you ain't got VAR, so there's no point. And like I say, they should have probably scored before that anyway. But we weren't playing badly. The performances have improved away, definitely. The games are a lot closer. But we're just it's the old saying as well, like when you're on that downward spiral, nothing seems to go for you. You don't get no luck, and that's pretty much is what happened in this game, to be fair. We switched formations. Player made his debut. Not too sure where he was. He looked like he was
high up,
and he's a defensive midfielder again. He did look quite good initially, but he sort of drifted off quite quickly. I don't know if he'll be starting the next game or not, but he looks, he was shooting from range and that. He was trying things, confidence, so that's good. Good to see that. But yeah, goal was kind of inevitable, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like Rich says here, and I said it myself. We could have been 3 down by the time they scored, and that's the thing. That's why I wasn't frustrated that their goal shouldn't or should have stood. Because at the end of the day, they had more than enough chances before that to score, and it was sort of inevitable, like you just said that as well. So I wasn't really frustrated with their goal. I was sort of just like, oh, well, there we go. They finally took their chance, sort of thing. But I mean, after that, we were decent. I'll tell you what. The performance was better in this game, but Rob Edwards said it before the game. Mike said it in the last fan cam. It's the results that matter, and we're not getting them. And that's the problem at the moment. And, you know, after the goal, I thought we were decent. We played some nice football in this game on the ground as well at times. You know, there was a few times we were trying to lump it to Morris in the first half and it just weren't working. But there was, you know, there was a moment where we got out of, you know, them attacking. We done really well to get out of it. Then went on a break. Nelson had few good touches. You know, he was good in the game. The only one little criticism I probably have of him is he did get caught offside a few times, but predominantly he was really good in the game yet again. And, you know, nice passages of play. Chong, because he's not as a wing back in this game, he was much better. You know, he was much better in this game. He utilised him correctly. He was making forward runs, done really well at a lot of points to get forward, get us corners and, you know, get us chances. Obviously, we had that scramble. You know, that was unlucky, really. Nelson didn't quite anticipate it to come to him. Then Morris had it, you know, it was blocked. And then Walsh went for a shot outside the box. I thought for a second that could have been the moment. It wasn't. You know, so we did have them chances and we did look good when we were playing the ball on the ground. And we've said that. You know, when we do that, we are a good football side. You know, Nakamba's range of passing was decent again. You know, I wouldn't say it was as good as the Norwich game, but it was better. You know, it was decent. It was consistent from him. You know, and it's good to see that he's trying to do them type of things as well, instead of doing the usual. You know, just cleaning up and, you know, playing shorter passes and stuff. And then obviously we got the goal. You know, great timing to get the goal right on half time. Oh, I'm so gutted I didn't do a watch long yesterday. So I literally said, McGuinness, right, strong point. Right, your attacking strong point is scoring from corners. You know, you've looked like a threat. Even though you've only got one goal for Luton so far, you've looked like a threat from a lot of corners this season. You know, then obviously he scored. Nelson was obviously getting boos from the QPR fans as well. So that was, you know, great to see that he rose to that and obviously got a great ball into the box. And he deserved that because his crosses against Norwich were really good, I felt. We just lacked trying to actually get onto them at times in that Norwich game. But yeah, you know, that deserved to happen. It's a great header from McGuinness, I'll be honest. Crazy from QPR to not be marking him. But the actual header, you know, it's a great header, posting in. You know, everything about that goal was brilliant. And fair play to Nelson, like I said in the match reaction, because that's 2 times he's went to Loftus Road now, goal and assist in you know 2 games. So fair enough from him. But it was a great goal, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, he's got a real quality, and you know he's probably, you know, chances created from corners or set pieces is probably, obviously it's not up there with Doughty's, but it's probably on the, from when he's played, he's been successful. And yeah, it's a great header, and that's what we want to see more from Guinness, even if it's like, you know, teasing when we play other teams, they're like looking for him to do that, and then marking him, they're panicking about him. If you've got like Elijah and, you know, Morris around as well, then it causes that's when it's going to cause problems because and you know, we're more likely to score. You know, we are good at set pieces. That's one thing we have kind of maintained.
And we're still up there in set piece goals this season.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, and so we deserved it. Yeah, maybe. Do you know what I mean? And even if you didn't, you know, this is what you got to be doing. So yeah, I was obviously pleased with that, and then, you know, we're hoping to see what happened in the second half. But obviously, we played all right, but they had loads. We were making defensive errors. Walters, McGuinness as well, like trying to hit back to the keeper and that. And we're lucky that they didn't score more, to be honest with you. And then the subs we made were just, I didn't know what formation we was doing or what was going on after that. Like when Clark and Kraus and everyone, you know what I mean, were drawing that comment, I was like, we've lost it now. But I want us going forward to keep that what we've got now, even if it is one up front, maybe try a different striker up front, or you got to enable someone else to push up, maybe Walsh instead of Dabo or Chong. Yeah, Chong was definitely better in a 5-man midfield. But yeah, it was a good goal. It was definitely a good goal. And you know,
I'm sure in the Premier League last season, maybe early this season, we did play one up front with sort of like 2 behind. You know, it's I guess sort of similar. Obviously, you've got more in midfield, but like you do have
I
the
think that's
players
what
out
we
wide.
was
It was
trying to
Chong and
do.
Nelson, wasn't it?
Yeah, when we was on the ball, I think that's what we was trying to do, and I think Dabo was one of them, and then maybe Walsh was the other one. Do you know what I mean? But let's see what happens going forward, because I think that it was pretty decent, and if we've got the players to do it. I mean, if Bell's not there, you can put Johnson there. You know what I mean? Burke could come back. He can play on the right side as well instead of Walters, and Walters can maybe push up into the midfield. So that's that is a positive thing. But yeah, not saying
Yeah, I mean, Rich with quite an interesting stat here. January, 42 of our goals come from set pieces. Again, we know it's a strong point. Obviously, you do want to see other goals. And to be fair to Dabo, like you said, Dad, he did try and go for them efforts from goal, which I did like to see. Because I've said it a lot this season. At times we've lacked that, just taking a shot from outside the box, and it's good to see that he's done that twice in a short amount of time as well. Well, I think maybe the first one was slightly just in the box, if I remember rightly. But he's trying them things, which I did like to see. I didn't like to see how high up he was because he is more defensive minded, but it was good that he was taking on them shots still. Defensive minded players, they can still score bangers. You've seen it for teams and stuff. So yeah, man, it's interesting, but yeah, like you say, it's good that we're still utilising that. Obviously, you will see goals come from elsewhere as well, which they probably should have a few times yesterday. Let's be honest, especially when we hit them on the break a few times. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? So yeah, there we go with that. But yeah, moving on to the second half. So we go in, 1-1. We're thinking, all right, that's a good time to score. We come out really good, actually. I thought, the first 5 to 10 minutes, we were good in that second half. Played some nice football. We were on the front foot. We were quite dominant. We got a free kick. Walsh took it, blocked. Not bad free kick. I was hoping that's sort of his redemption arc. We had a few moments going forward. Like say, Fanny had 2 great chances. I'll tell you what, the first chance he had, right, the football to do that, to even get that chance away was brilliant. Morris with a back heel pass. Can't remember who passed it to. I think it's maybe Chong. Then obviously, had the effort. Unlucky. He had an effort shortly after, which was a slightly better effort, I would say. It weren't too far away, from going in the roof of the net. But we had them few chances, and then they got a free kick. And they scored a bit of a scrappy goal. It sort of sums up our season really. But at the same time, you look at it, and it's probably one of them games where we have to take chances again. And it does remind me in a way of when we played them in the League Cup. Where we were so dominant. Very similar performance to Preston away, actually, and I think that was the same sort of period. Yeah, it was. It was the game after, actually, and them times there we were so dominant, but we just couldn't quite finish. And obviously we did in this game, but it's from our strong point. Them chances where we hit them on the break, we should have really scored again. To be quite honest with you, and it was a bit frustrating, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean Morris had a good chance as well. Their keeper saved there. But
Straight after the goal, yeah.
With these set pieces, when we conceding them, some of them, you're half expecting them to shoot. But if they do a delay or do something slightly, slower, basically play it to a guy in space, which is what they do. We just seem to panic, and that's basically what happened, isn't it? In short, come on, it was lucky. Nothing Kaminsky could do about that. But and then there's that confidence thing as well, isn't there? Because it keeps happening, the heads will automatically drop, and that's the problem. We need a game where we're just on top, or even the other teams having an off day, and we just beat them comfortably or whatever, and that's what we need. And that's just not, and then we was panicking in defence because we was pushing up, and then some of the defending against better teams, they would have scored more. We were lucky with some of them, definitely. And then obviously we had the chance right at the end. Again, McGuinness, great header, so unlucky. But there is signs there, you know, whether Rob is the guy to turn it around or not. With there the players that you know they are good enough. Do you know what I mean? If they're played in the right way and you've got everyone back and stuff like that. But we definitely need strikers now. We're too reliant on Elijah and Morris, and they're not quite got that. You know, they're decent, but you need something with a little bit extra. You can just constantly bang in goals. You know, like a Smodix or, do you know what I mean, like Josh Major. You know, them kind of players. That's what we need to be doing. And you know, just quickly get into like some of the recruitment. You know, the Taylor situation, perfect example. Even the McAtee, you know, we signed them. Oh yeah, we signed them for the future. You know, this, that, and the other. But you're not letting them play. Like we're relying too much on stats in training and this, that, and the other. Going, well, you're not, you know, you're not doing this, so you're not getting a start. It don't make sense. Like he was on loan. We just thought he'd be a shoo-in, didn't we, to be starting? Everyone probably did. It makes sense. Yes, it's at League Two and League One, but he's done it, double figures. You know, two different clubs starting. He went. He was going straight in there to play, and you know, no, oh, he ain't doing it in training, this, that, and the other. He weren't getting dropped or anything. Do you know what I mean? So I don't. It's just a bit weird with things like that. You're signing players and then you're just like not playing them. Like I get it if they're crap, they don't work out, or they've got an attitude problem, like Morel that time, you know, and things like that. But they just don't make sense. Like, yes, we've made money on it. I don't. Well, maybe we've made money. I don't know what we paid for him or whatever. But he'll go straight into that club and start scoring goals, mate. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then he'll make the step up to the championship or even higher, and then you're going to be like, well, why didn't it work? Like Giles as well. That was another one. Chong to a certain extent, if you're playing him in the, do you know what I mean, wrong positions and things like that. So I don't know. It's just a bit weird there. Something not quite right. I think that needs to be properly looked at. But yeah, we were unlucky. You know, it is not. It is. You know, everyone's like, yeah, want him out. Da, da, da. But what's, you know, I don't know. It's just that you're not really getting excited that much now. Do you know what I mean? You're not expecting. It reminds me of when I was younger. It's like, oh yeah,
I'll be honest. I was thinking
we're 18th. That's good. That's good, because we was constantly in relegation battles when I was constantly, and I don't think it'd get to that stage. But it is like literally we could be bottom of the league in a couple of games time. And that's just that just simply isn't good enough. Whatever way you look at it, you know, that there is something massively wrong with the tactics and manager, what's going on behind the scenes, etc. I know when we don't want to be one of these clubs that sack. Maybe they are working on things in the background, but if it's not working, you change it, don't you? But
Yeah.
it's interesting. You know, they do
No.
talk, go back to the Graham Jones one. You know, we were terrible that season as well, but we're not far off of that, to be honest with you. And we had worse players then, much worse players. You know, and then they left it till, well, COVID or count whatever, really really late, and then Nathan Jones come in with like I don't know how many games it was left and just managed to turn it around, and that just shows you sometimes. But yeah, we'll see. Um, wasn't a terrible performance, but we still need that little extra spark which all these other teams seem to have, even if they're struggling. Like QPR Chair, he's been there for time. He's with, you know, real quality. Just that extra sort of gear. We just haven't got anyone like that, and we can get people like that. We should be having players like we should have maybe gone in for players like I know they did with Barkley and that, but this is the Premier League, it's a different thing. Now we are to attract them players, especially from, you know, ex Premier League teams or top Championship teams. We're going to have to go back below again to bring them up, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? And fine, man, it is a bit frustrating.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. And towards the latter stages of that game, it felt like panic subs again, really. Didn't make a sub to the 74th minute, and they're all, bar Hashioka, they're all attacking changes. And even then went back to the back three as well towards the end. And yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I'll be honest, guys, I was thinking yesterday, like, obviously we all love the club, want the club to do well, but it sort of feels like it's a chore right now to watch Luton. Like, you're not really enjoying it, like you say, Dad. It's just, especially away, it's just the same rubbish week upon week. Even when we had 9 losses in a row, that was the worst in the whole of England. Top 4 leagues, which is just not good enough, guys. Like, it's just. I just don't understand how it can be so bad. Like, I really don't. Like, especially when our away form last time we was in the Championship was like the 3rd best. I don't know how it's so bad. Like, the style of play, in the back three obviously hasn't been working throughout the season, and that's obviously a bit of a part to play on it. But at the same time, it's just like, what is going on? Like, how are we this bad? I don't understand. Like, on my TikTok the other day, generally fan, fair enough. He was just asking, like, he weren't a Luton fan, obviously. He was asking if we lost like key players. And I said, not really. The ones we expected to lose, we're always going to go. So we kept the core of the squad. I don't know why we're so bad. Like, the performances, yes, they are better in games. I don't think it was terrible either against Norwich, but you got to get results at the end of the day. Portsmouth, have got 2 games in hand that are below us. And Cardiff and Plymouth, who are currently 23rd and 24th, have got a game in hand. Good opportunity for them guys. And I mean, the Championship, anything can happen. But, if Hull can get a draw to Leeds, I mean, I'm going to have a quick look who they've got next. But if they can get a draw to Leeds, they've got Millwall away next, who did lose to Oxford at home. There's no other reason why they can't go above us. You know what I mean? Like, there was large parts of that game where they were winning, put us down to 21st. Yes, one of Portsmouth's games in hand is Blackburn away, which will be a difficult game for them. But still, I'm not. I don't get it. All these teams have got rid of managers or moved on. Bar Plymouth, they still haven't got someone in yet, but they will do. We're just it's just not working. It's not working at all. And again, even he said it in his pre-match, because I saw it on Sky. He said it's all about results. Rob Edwards said that himself, and we're not getting them. So it's just, I don't know, guys. I don't know at this point. Obviously, a lot of people have lost faith. Jackie says we're going to end up in League One. I mean, a few Luton fans I know have said, we're literally walking our way to League One at the moment. And we have to be honest, guys, a lot of people think, yes, our squad is better than the teams below us, but I don't know. A lot of these teams in the Championship this year are showing that grit and determination, especially teams like Oxford, for example. I know they've got quite an experienced squad for a team that's come up. Even they're doing well. Home games, they're doing really well. We've got them soon. Hull have changed their manager. No reason why they can't be out of it. Plymouth, it all depends who they get. But at home, you're a lot more confident in backing them in games. So, I don't know, man. Cardiff got a draw, where we got absolutely slapped up there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's. I don't know, guys. I don't know, really, to be honest. But yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Yeah, and that's the thing. I have to agree. I have to agree with this from Rich. Like, it's one of them where I can't back it, guys. Like, you lot know me. I have been Edwards out since Sheffield United away. I know a lot of people's turning point was Middlesbrough, and I'm surprised it wasn't then, especially given by his post match. It sort of sounded like he sort of felt it was going to be his last game. But he knows he's under pressure. But it's just, when are we actually going to do it? Like, what do we actually have to do? Like, these teams have got games in hand below us. The only one that hasn't is Hull. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So yeah, that's that really when it comes to that. But we'll move on to the player ratings. So we'll start off with Kaminsky. Well, kept Rob Edwards in a job in that first half. That's what I was saying. And the goals, could he have done anything? Well, definitely not the second one. The first one, no, I wouldn't say so. And either way, them saves he done in the start of the game shouldn't really be too critical, even if you think he should have saved that, to be honest. So for me, Kaminsky, obviously I can't go too high. We did lose the game. Did concede 2, so I'll go 7 with Kaminsky.
Yeah, I agree. 7. That save was really good. But we used to. That's what we was talking about. You know, people criticising maybe he should have saved that shot against Norwich or whatever. Then look at him, he's straight back in there. Frustration when we conceded that second one, he was arguing with the defenders and Morris and that. And he's going to be off possibly if someone comes in for him in the summer. I think. Unless we drastically change form and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, and again, guys, like I said, if a big offer comes in, we can't turn it down, and he won't turn it down, I'm sure. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and again, I know it's a team that he was rumoured with, or rumoured to be looking at him in the summer, Leicester. I mean, I look at their keepers. They've dropped Danny Ward. That goalkeeper they've got now, I don't think he's too great. So I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe went there. Again, a lot of people probably go, yeah, but they'll probably get relegated. But at the same time, if he gets more money and stuff, you can't really blame him, to be honest with you. He's tried his best for us. And again, like we said at the start of the season, we expected him to put saves every now and then because you're going to naturally do that, but not as many as he's had to again. In the Premier League last season, most saves in the whole of the league, which we probably would expect, let's be honest. But coming to the Championship, we just thought he wouldn't have to do as much. But again, a lot of the goals this season that we've conceded, he couldn't have done much, and he saved us game upon game from being in the relegation zone, so yeah, best shot stopper in the league, or at least up there for me, despite our position. Kaminsky 7, 2 good saves, yeah, exactly. Stopped it being a cricket score, yeah, exactly that, mate. Jackie says 7.5. And then we'll move on to Walters. We'll go over to Walters. Again, a few question marks. Could he have done better on the goal? I think a few times he could have done better, marking in the game. I'll be honest. But again, he's still got a lot to learn. He is good going forward. He did look good a few times, spraying passes and stuff. So I won't go too harsh on him, but I will go with a 6.5.
I'll give him a 6. I think he's struggling to find form. Sometimes he looks a bit good, like I say, going forward and that. But defensively, he looks a bit shaky. He was reminding me a little bit of Kabore, to be honest. And he weren't too great in this game. But, we'll see. In the back four, maybe he's not used to that. I don't know. I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah, fair enough. I was going to go a 6 myself, to be fair. But I didn't. Terry says Walters gave away ball first goal and lost his man. 5. Yeah, fair enough. 5.5. Charlie's gone 7 for Kaminsky, 5 for Walters. Jackie's agreed with me, 6.5. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Bell. Again, I thought he was decent in this game. Few decent moments from him. There was a lot of times QPR pressed quite high and he was under pressure a lot. And to be fair, a lot of times he done well to get out of it in the game. So I thought Bell was okay. Bell, I'll go with a 6.5 again.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6.5. I think he can do better defensively, but I think we know that he's not that great, especially like in set pieces and things like that. Going forward, control of the ball, and getting out of certain situations is 90% of the time he's good at it. But in these sort of defensive situations, sometimes he's not great, and I don't think he was massively great in this game. So I'll just give him a 6.5.
Fair enough. Bell 6. So Charlie, same with Jackie, same with Paul, and Terry has got not his best game. So he agrees with you there. Moving on we'll go over to Holmes out of the back four. I don't think Holmes had the best of games. I mean, the first chance QPR had, he was sort of trying to say it was offside, put his hand up. And I was thinking, no, Holmes, you're playing him on. Now, I like Holmes, but that was not a great game from him at all, in my personal opinion. Got caught, quite a lot of times. So, yeah, not a great game from Holmes. Probably the worst I've seen him play so far for us. So I'll go 5.5.
I'll give him a 6, yeah. I don't think it was too great for him either. Maybe he needs a bit of a rest because he has been kind of thrown in as well. He's not going to play every game decent, but yeah, in back four, you'd think these he'd be more comfortable. But he didn't seem. He seemed to be worse. Same as Walters. They seem to be worse. Like weirdly. But yeah, I'll just give him 6.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Already read that. Holmes 5 struggled in back 4. Yeah, he did. He did. 6 says Jackie. Moving on to McGuinness. Oh, again, guys, I said it in my match reaction, and I'm going to stand by it. He got the goal. It was a great header. And there was a few moments in the first half I was a bit worried. There was a moment he got done a bit too easy, and it went on a break. And I do have them slight worries about McGuinness. Sometimes, he was the better defender, or defence as a whole out of that back 4. But I still don't think he had the best of games personally, as much as he did get a goal. So for me, I will go with a 7, but I still think there was moments where it wasn't the best. But he was a shine out compared to a lot of the other players.
Yeah, I agree. Like the goal was great, and then nearly scored at the end. Excuse me. And then when Morris nearly scored, he was like the deterrent. You know what I mean? They focused on him, and then Morris said that. But yeah, he was a bit sloppy in this game defensively. But he weren't as bad as the others. Do you know what I mean? So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. As like Terry said, yeah, I totally agree, mate. He should have scored. I'll tell you what was crazy from a QPR perspective, but they got away with it. The fact that he scored a goal like that in the first half, they weren't marking him the second time. But yeah, he should have scored that, man. And again, like I said in the match reaction, he will have nightmares about that. He probably had nightmares about that because that's a great opportunity, unmarked again. It was just gutting, man, to be honest. But yeah, exactly that as well. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Chong. Again, much better when he's playing higher up the pitch. A few good runs. Obviously had that chance where it was a scramble in the box. That started from him. He done well to get out of stuff. Was getting fouled a lot. It was a better game from him. Probably not the best game I've seen him play for Luton, but it was much better, than it has been in recent weeks because he's playing higher up. So for me, Chong, I'll go 6.5.
Yeah, I'll give him 6.5. Got a yellow as well, but looked more comfortable, doing what he's at the club to do, basically. Go make them forward runs, try and get in good positions and stuff. And he was trying that. And considering he was on the right, wasn't he, as well? So, he's a left-footed player, I believe. So, and we thought that Doughty would be in as well. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah. And when you see that lineup, you think, well, at first we thought same formation. Well, I did anyway. And I was thinking he's a wing back again. And I was a bit worried, but obviously he wasn't. When the game went on, a shout out to Cutsy, Newcastle fan. Obviously loving it. Yeah, I don't mind Newcastle, mate. Big up to yourself. Talk about Newcastle again. Geordie's here. Way the lads. Big up, mate. Yeah, massive game for you lot today, actually, innit? Semi-final of the League Cup against Arsenal. Probably watch that, to be fair. See how you lot do in the first leg. It's at Arsenal first leg, so it could be a good opportunity for you going to St James's Park. We shall see in the second leg. Chong 7, good runs. You play him on the left. Yeah, I totally agree. Just higher up. You know what I mean? Just not as a wing back, please. Yeah, we're just struggling, mate. We're struggling to get results, really. And it's just a repetitive cycle going on week upon week, really. But yeah, big up to yourself, mate. But yeah, moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Nakamba. Again, I thought there was decent moments. I don't think his performance was as good as the Norwich game, for example. But I thought he was good in the game still. A few decent moments for him. He was spraying passes like he was against Norwich, and he was okay. So I'll go 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. He seems to be kind of getting back to his, form and the Nakamba that helped us go up and things like that. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah. And then moving on to Dabo. Again, started the game okay. Obviously, he's got a lot to learn. 20 years old, English football is completely different. Did remind me of ways of when Hashioka first joined. You could tell they were struggling at times, especially the pace of English football and things like that. Did have them 2 shots, which I did like to see. The first one, in my opinion, I'll be honest, he should have done a bit better. The second one was unlucky. But yeah, he did have them moments. He's still got a bit to learn, so I'll just go with an average 6.
I'll give him 6.5. I thought, considering he was asked, he's a defensive midfielder, he was like pushing up and that, he was trying, like I say, he's young. Um, but you can see he's got potential. Do you know what I mean? So I'll give him 6.5.
Yeah. The Camber 6.5 says Jackie. 6.5 played okay. Yeah, exactly. And then 6 as well. Jackie agrees with me. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Walsh. He was good. He was good in the game. Like I say, he had a few shots blocked. Obviously, he had the free kick that was blocked as well. But he looked much better in this game, and he does look like he's thriving to have that redemption. He was trying stuff in this game. His range of passing is really good. And I wouldn't mind starting him in the next league game. The cup game, like I say, I expect rotation. Players that haven't got as many minutes to probably play in that, but which could be him, given that was his first game back after 4. So we shall see with him. But yeah, I felt he was decent in the game. He was probably one of the better midfielders other than Chong in the game for me. So, you know what, Walsh, I'll give a 7. I was quite impressed with his performance.
Yeah, like it's more memorable. One of the more memorable players. He just looked comfortable on the ball, confident on the ball. And was kind of, when he come on, like you said, against Preston and things like that, when he was coming on as a sub earlier on in the season, he was bringing that, forward sort of momentum and always looking for the forward pass and that. And we do need that, to be honest. And he probably will start against Forest. And, if he gets sent off, I don't think it matters because it's the FA Cup. You know what I mean? But no, he was decent. Like, and he's probably, going to be back, and I'd rather see him. For me, he's offering more than Clark, as well. So, yeah, 7.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree as well. And again, he's another player that could take set pieces as well. So, we shall see. Not sure if I've read this. Good debut, says Terry on Funny. Yeah, it was decent. It was decent. I'll give it an average. Wolves 7. So Jackie agrees. Wolves 7 got stuck in, played well. Yeah, exactly. Got stuck in the right way as well this time. As well, so that was always good. And then moving on we'll go over to Nelson. If I was to give him a man of the match again, guys, yes, the performance is better, but I still don't really like to give it at the moment with how we've been, especially when we lose. But I would have given it to him again. The only little criticism I say is, he caught offside, I think, like twice in the game. But there was moments even early on in the game where I think he nutmegged their player and then went for a run forward. He done really well in that aspect. And maybe could have anticipated that scramble a little bit better. But other than that, he was really good in the game. Got an assist. And a lot of people saying, starting more regularly in games, to be honest. And again, not in the Forest, I would be starting him, to be honest. Give him a little go in the FA Cup. See if he can shine and continue doing what he's doing at the moment, and that's playing decent. So for me, best player for us, in my opinion, I'll go over 8.
I'll give him a 7.5. He is my man of the match. Yeah, he was, especially in the first half. He was kind of causing them loads of problems, like you say, dribbling forward, playing the right passes, looking really confident. Obviously, he's a youngster as well, and he's just been taking them set pieces as well, and obviously got the great delivery, the right times, not letting anything phase him. Real quality, we're going to be lucky to keep hold of him, I think. Because if he's sort of player, if we do start him against like Forest and he bamboozles people, that he's going to be on radars straight away. And he deserves to be like, but I just, as he's homegrown, I hope we can keep him for a bit longer. Do you know what I mean? And he's basically played his way into the team, which is really good to see. Yes, you've got to be careful with him, and that's why I thought that he might not start it, but he's carrying on with that, and sometimes that's what you need when you're in a poor vein of form. But yeah, he's my man of the match, 7.5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Nelson, a man of the match, 8, looked good on the ball. Yeah, exactly. Good change to 7.5 for Zach Nelson. Yeah, fair enough. And that has now put Nelson on 4 votes, by the way. Obviously, that means he's joint second with a few others.
And he's not
exactly, and he's hardly played. So
much every
I mean,
time.
I've sung his praises for a while. Ever since I watched him play in that youth game against Birmingham, he scored so many. If he scored like a hat trick, might even score like 4 goals in that game. We got revenge, beating 5-0 at their ground. But yeah, ever since that game, like, again, and that's completely a different jump up. But he's rose to the occasion, games upon games. You know, started taking set pieces now as well. So yeah, man, you've got high hopes for him, and yeah, there's no reason why. Again, I wouldn't start him for Saturday's game, to be honest. Moving on to the last player that started, Morris. Again, trying to hold up the ball a few times, but obviously was struggling. Did have that chance after they scored. I'm not really going to be critical of that. That was a decent save, do you know what I mean? He done okay there. But again, I've seen better games than Morris, so 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5, and then part of that is because the age going away up front on his own. I've spoke about this before. It doesn't really work unless he's got, other players flying forward, which because they were new, like Dabo was asked to do that, Nelson was asked to do that. Obviously, we got caught offside a couple of times, but it didn't really work, and it's stilts his game a little bit. But 6.5.
Yeah. Jackie's going the same for Morris. Moving on to the subs, start off with Elijah. I mean, he did have that chance where he tried to slid in and go for it. It does look like he was fouled a little bit, I'll be honest. A bit of a pulling of a shirt there, but I'm not really going to be critical of him there because, one, like I say, that, and also it's difficult to try and, get more power on that. But he was trying when he come on. He was trying to get that equaliser for us. So, do you know what? I'll go 6.5.
I'm giving all the subs 6. I don't
Fair
think they
enough.
really affected the game in the way that we wanted to. Brown and Elijah would expect them to maybe do a little bit more. It was a little bit earlier that we brought them on, but probably still maybe a bit too late. And then the other ones, 5 minutes to go, didn't even really notice them on the pitch, to be honest with you. So I'm giving all straight 6s all the way.
Fair enough. What I was going to do, I was going to give Elijah a 6.5 and then the rest a 6, especially the last 3 because they come on for no longer than 5 minutes. Plus the added time. So yeah, that's where I stand on it. So you get man of the match to Nelson. Obviously I didn't do it, which has now put Nelson right up there, joint second with a lot of players. Like I say, points both got a point, Dad. 14 all. Obviously, I said a heavy defeat. If we went with back 3, it probably could have been, to be honest, with their chances. Obviously, you said a bit of closer game, Dad, 3-2. So it was a one goal deficit in that sense. So, yeah, that's now put us on 14 all this season. So it's going to be interesting to see how that ends. Um, Terry's even done an Edwards vote for. I mean, there was a stage where I was actually thinking of doing that, voting on the manager's subs and that, but yeah, no, they weren't great. Like I say, sort of panicking again, because the thing is, yeah, I get it, we need to go attacking, but it's the amount of attackers he's brought on in the last couple of games. It's sort of like he's sort of hoping for something, like the Derby game, for example. That's how I feel with it, really. So, yeah. I've been Edwards out for a while, as we all know. So, yeah, but the fans, the fans are quite good. I heard them quite a lot on TV. So shout out to them, like always. And one thing I do want to touch on before we end this, actually, done right. Was giving it all the yeah, I get it, banter and that. But why did no Luton player try and get him away? I don't know if you saw it, Dad. Basically, he was going like that. He was going free, because they beat us 3 times and that, right in front of the fans, and just no one was doing anything. Like Clark was looking at him do it. I was like, what? Like, obviously, you don't want it to spill
Yeah,
out like the Portsmouth.
yeah, that's why, because of our discipline, we can't do anything.
It's literally violating us. And the guys are just like, yeah, guys. Like, it was a bit frustrating. Yeah, obviously, the thing that set that off with him is when he scored that own goal and we put job done when we beat him 3-1. And from there on in, it's been a bit of a rivalry of him and our fans. Obviously, as a it's been a rivalry for quite a while, but between Dunn and the Luton Town lot and stuff like that. But yeah, again, another disappointing away defeat. Again, yes, the performance was better, but they had great chances to win, like you say, Dan, especially after that second goal they got. We had good chances to equalise, but in the end, still not enough. And like Rob Edwards said before the game, results is what matters, and we're not getting them. Obviously, we have got a break now from the league, and then obviously we're going to Preston at home, which I will be going to. So that'll be interesting in the new stand again. But that's going to be a difficult game. We lost to them earlier on in the season, and we were dominant in that game. And we lost to them, and they are a hard-working team. They are hard to break down at times. So, yeah, especially since Heckingbottom's come in, they've been a lot more better. So I'm not going to underestimate them. But on to Forest next, which obviously we'll get into more on Friday. And we will have Dawn on the channel again for that. So that's going to be interesting. He's going to be absolutely loving it because Forest obviously high-flying at the moment. And, yeah, we're in the mud. So that's going to be fun, isn't it? But that's going to be a bit later on. So obviously, he's got work commitments and stuff. So it'll be around about 9 on Friday. So it's a bit of a later one. So if you can tune in to that, please do. And then as for the game on Saturday, well, I need to talk to you, Dad, about something after this. And then we'll let you lot know on Friday what's going to happen from there. But, Dad, any final things you want to say on anything before we wrap up?
Nah, just see what happens over the next, in the transfer window and things like that, and just mate, enjoy the cup game if you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, literally. And I'm just going to check because obviously Taylor is heavily linked with Huddersfield. I'm going to check when they next play. They're actually playing today in League One against Wickham. Oh, that's actually quite an interesting game. I think that's like second versus fourth in it, something like that. So that should be quite interesting. But yeah. Again, obviously, if any news comes out, like heavy news, there's more likely chance of happening. Obviously, I will we'll do videos and talk on it. And yeah, that's everything. So big up to everyone that's tuned in. Smash a like if you haven't already. Do subscribe. Do check out my match reaction yesterday if you haven't already. Big up to everyone that has. And check out the short I put out as well. And yeah, like I say, any news comes out, then obviously we'll do videos. But if not, then it'll just be shorts. And then obviously Friday, we'll be back again with a preview to that. And then from there on in, I will let you know towards the end of the Hat Show on Friday what's going on after that content-wise. So big up to everyone. Smash a like I say, subscribe. Follow me across all my socials. Subscribe to the Extra channel. And yeah, until next time, we will see you lot in a bit. Big up yourselves. Take care. Peace.
Peace.